point, there was a no turning back point, and I could look at it and say, this is the point where, this is where the ships were burned, and nobody was going back. And I was doing a gig in Washington, D.C. I did a lot of opening act stuff. I was playing the Cellar Door one night. I was opening up for a guy named Robert Hunter, who was a lyricist and part of the Grateful Dead group. And I was driving back that night, and I had to drive all through the night from D.C. to New York City to get back in time for an audition in the morning. This was like 1980. I just moved to New York City for probably within a year. I pick up this hitchhiker outside of D.C., guy my age, 25, 24, whatever he was, my age. He gets in the car, he says, hey man, you smoke weed? I said, yeah, but not now. I got to get back. See, because I'm one of those guys, when I smoke weed, I could barely drive. I mean, barely. I'm not one of those people who could do things when I smoke weed. I did not. I would like to just stare and listen. Whatever noise you got, whatever you got to stare at, that's what I was doing. So I said, we're not going to smoke any weed, man. I'm not going to smoke. He said, I got the best weed. And he started talking about his weed. You know, he's describing it. I was, again, never one of those kind of guys. You know, one of those guys who go, this comes from the east slope of the Andes Mountain on the Boca. And he's like, you know, I don't care. I never cared about any of that stuff. I was never a connoisseur of anything other than how high is it going to get me. That was my only criteria for anything. But he was like a connoisseur, and he kept talking about it. And he said, and he showed me, and he had this bag of weed, and he said, can I roll the joints? Can I just start rolling them? You know, and I said, sure, go ahead, man, go ahead. And we're just driving up the turnpike, and he's rolling joint after joint after joint after joint. You know, and I should have known, it's like a Rastafarian. They can only roll so many joints before they're going to light one up, you know. And I just knew, but I didn't know, you know. I just wanted to get to New York City, and we hit New York City around 6 in the morning. So outside the Holland Tunnel, the traffic was building up, and we stopped. And he said, can I smoke now? I said, no, man. Wait till we get in the tunnel, because I was dropping him off in Manhattan. I said, look, once we get in the Holland Tunnel, you could smoke. I don't care. But not now, because I knew we were exposed. We were just sitting out there. And I wasn't really paying attention, and he lit one up. And this police officer walked in front of the car and just pounded on the hood and went, you, pull it over, you know. And he walked me through the traffic off to the side. And we're walking over. I turned to him and said, eat that thing, eat it. Eat it. And he ate the joint. And it's like a Cheech and Chong bit now, I know. I said, now stuff all those joints down your pants. Stuff them down your pants, man. And I had a plan immediately, because I had these props. I had joint props in my act. When I opened up for rock bands back then, I would take out one of these. They were just tobacco rolled like a joint, and I'd do a couple of bits where I'd light up a joint, which back then in the 70s and 80s, everybody would scream, yeah, cool, man, you know. And then I'd like pass it around the whole audience. Come on, everybody can get high, you know, on one joint. If Jesus did with a loaf and a fish, we can try it tonight. Just jokes, you know. I said, I got an idea. So I pulled out these fake joints I had, and I said, just don't talk, man. Let me do all the talking. Just shut up, man. Okay, man, okay, man. So we get out of the car, and I tell the police officer, look, man, you saw him smoke. It was just a cigarette. He said, no, it's a joint. I said, no, here they are. Look. I said, here they are, man. There's just props in my act, and I'm telling him I'm a comedian, and I did these things in my act, and he was just having a cigarette. I didn't have any cigarettes, so I gave him one of these. He said, police, really? He said, yeah. He said, well, let me look at it. And he looks at it, he breaks it open, he goes, yeah, that's just tobacco. And then the other guy, another police officer walked over and said, well, we have this now portable unit that can test things, test drugs, and let's give it a try. Let's have a little fun trying it. So I was like, we're cool, man, we're cool. And we're standing there, and next thing you know, to hear this guy go, look, man, I don't have an ounce. I don't even have an ounce on me. And I turn and go, what are you doing? He goes, I got busted before, man. And I'm figuring, man, if I'm honest with them, you know, they'll like go easy on me. So the police officer goes, what do you got? And he starts pulling joints out of his pants, right? And joint after joint. And it's like one of those magic acts where it keeps going, it keeps going. And he's digging around, like one got caught behind his balls or something, you know. And I'm just standing there going, this is unbelievable, man. I got handcuffed, you know. They open up and go, this is real. Now they go, this is real marijuana, you know. And he goes, I'm sorry, man. I go, I told you, man, just don't say anything. He's like, I know, man, I'm sorry, but I got busted before. Now you got busted again. And you got busted. I was so angry at this guy, man. So we had to go into a jail cell and sit in a jail cell, me and this guy, you know. There's only two guys in this Hackensack or wherever it was, I don't know, Jersey, jail cell outside, whatever's outside the tunnel, you know. And he's sitting there, and finally his mother shows up. I'm not getting bailed out. His mother comes to bail him out. And this is pre any kind of rehab or anything. And you could see that look on her face, like she walks in, she goes, "Where's my son?" And we're not even a real jail. It's just like a little holding thing with some bars around, like a play cell that they stuck us in. That everybody walked by would look at us, we'd sit there, and people go, "What are they in for? Pot?" And they go, "You idiots, you know. Who gets busted for pot in 1980? You two, you know." So she comes in, she goes, "Oh, I can't get my son." And he gives her the paperwork, and he goes, "Hey, man, I'm sorry." I said, "Fuck you, man, fuck you." And his mother goes, "That's right." So apparently the sentiment was something she was feeling at the moment too. But I got a marijuana charge, and I thought, and a friend of mine who's a lawyer who handled it for me said, "Well, you can't take the bar. You'll never be able to take the bar." And I was like, "Fantastic." It was like, I'm not, you know, it didn't even matter to me. You know, it was like an honor badge in show business. You know, you got pot bust? Okay, you're in show business now.